Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolits. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The demon looked peculiar, his face etched with deep wrinkles, making him appear around 70 or 80 years old. His steps were unsteady, and his eyes held a whirlwind of emotions, as if he couldn't decide whether to be happy or sad at their arrival. He approached the army, then, with a deep breath, he got down on one knee, bowed solemnly, and spoke.
Greetings, Your Highness. I'm Asher Gray, and I sincerely welcome you and the other generals.
Swoosh. The shuttle carrying Bo Thompson and Gavin Owens slowly descended. They stepped onto the ground, rushing to help Asher Gray up.
Imperial Master, things must have been difficult for you to stay here and wait for us for so long.
It turned out the demon man named Asher Gray was the Imperial Master of the Northern Demon Country.
It's not that difficult. The late king told me to bring Your Highness out of the Northern Demon Country no matter what. Your Highness, now that you've returned, I can't help but wonder what the late king will think about this.
Hearing this, Bo Thompson felt a pang of unease but quickly shook it off.
Imperial Master, I understand my late father well. He cared about my safety, but was murdered by the enemy. Now that we've finally strengthened ourselves, how could we tolerate the fake royal family to continue wreaking havoc on Northern Demon Country? Even if we would die on the battlefield, I must claim the Northern Demon Country back.
There was a fierce fighting spirit in her eyes as she spoke. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Bo Thompson, Asher Gray shook his head, sighing deeply.
Imperial Master, don't worry. With me and Liam Brooke protecting Her Highness, nothing will happen.
That's right, Imperial Master. Didn't you see that even I have returned? Wasn't it a sign that the heavens have blessed the Northern Demon Country?
The Imperial Master nodded, then glanced in Zane Martell's direction with a puzzled look.
Wait, why are there humans among you? Are you planning to bring humans back to the Northern Demon Country?
His expression changed, and there was a hint of reproach in his tone.
Yes, Imperial Master.
Asher Gray's expression shifted immediately. He turned around, staring intently at Zane Martell.
Greetings, Senior. I am Zane Martell.
Zane Martell? Are you the same Zane Martell Her Highness and the two generals once mentioned? Are you Her Highness's benefactor?
Asher Gray's eyes lit up, and his expression changed again.
I think I should be the same Zane Martell if there's no one else sharing my name.
Zane Martell, thank you for everything you've done for Her Highness.
Asher Gray's attitude changed drastically upon hearing Zane Martell's name. Like other Demon Clan members, Asher Gray did not like humans, but Zane Martell was an exception. He sized up Zane Martell, Alora, and Gabriel Stone, his expression growing grave.
My friends, I'm afraid it won't be good for you to enter the Northern Demon Country looking like this.
What does that mean?
Bo Thompson, standing next to them, began to explain slowly.
A long time ago, the Northern Demon Country was a country almost entirely composed of the Demon Clan. There was almost no human existence within it. My late father, who was also the king, proposed a policy to allow humans to enter the Northern Demon Country. From then on, the country became much more prosperous. However, the policy also planted the seeds of chaos.
Asher Gray nodded, his eyes reflecting the weight of the past. The air was thick with tension as the group pondered the implications of their mission. What lay ahead in the Northern Demon Country was uncertain, but their resolve was unwavering. As they prepared to face the challenges, an eerie silence settled over them, hinting at the trials yet to come. Little did they know, the real battle was just beginning. Would they reclaim the Northern Demon Country, or would they fall victim to the chaos that awaited them? The answers lay hidden in the shadows of the impending conflict. The destruction and division of the Northern Demon Country were deeply intertwined with humans. Humans had supported the fake royal family and orchestrated the rebellion. Many remnants in the Northern Demon Country held grudges against humans, longing to eradicate them to resolve their resentments. It was extremely dangerous for humans to wander around in the Northern Demon Country. Out of caution, Gavin Owens didn't let the human disciples of Dark Wolf Hall get involved. Zane Martell frowned, realizing the situation was more complicated than he'd imagined. Being human, he couldn't disguise that fact. Just then, Asher Gray took out 3 jade pendants and handed them to Zane Martell.
These jade pendants contain a trace of the Demon Clan's aura. They can help you avoid some low-level probing, but they aren't a long-term solution. Only through a long-distance transmission formation can we completely cover up your human presence when we travel to Meadow Continent and practice a cultivation method of the Demon Clan.
Zane Martell nodded and quickly handed the jade pendants to Elora and Gabriel Stone. Then, Bo Thompson asked about the other generals.
Imperial Master, aside from Gavin Owens and Liam Brooke, we still have 4 other generals. Do you know how they are doing now?
Asher Gray looked startled at first, then sighed deeply.
Except for General Samuel Blake of the Meadow Continent, the other generals are missing. And I heard General Victor Vex has betrayed us.
Bo Thompson, though half expecting it, still couldn't believe her ears.
How can this be? Victor Vex, that coward, joined the enemy. Will he give them our information?
Victor Vex, you traitor.
I don't think so. At least he doesn't know our location or where we're heading.
The group was furious about Victor Vex's betrayal. Gavin Owens gave brief instructions and told the Dark Wolf army to rest, planning to set off early the next morning for the Northern Demon Country. Zane Martell had learned a lot about the Northern Demon Country. It consisted of 6 states, each as big as half of the Yueming Kingdom. The late king had sent his most trusted subordinates to settle in these states. Their destination was the Meadow Continent, the only place not fallen to chaos. General Samuel Blake, stationed there, was a Green Wind Divine Hawk and had once fought alongside Gavin Owens and Liam Brooke. Zane Martell didn't idle away the night. He immersed himself in the dragon-devouring prison, soaking in the beast blood pool. He knew the challenges in the Northern Demon Country would be far greater than those in Eastern Palm. Early the next morning, Gavin Owens ordered the Dark Wolf army to move to the center of the 100-meter snow mountain. The area was carved with dense runes, with ore-like objects embedded every few meters. The long-distance teleportation was extremely costly. "Your Highness, generals, take care." Asher Gray didn't join them. He stood before the transmission formation and bowed deeply. Boom! The white light of the formation flashed. A beam of light shot from the ground to the sky, piercing through the peak of the snow mountain, deep into the clouds, and gradually disappeared. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Zora Mountains, hundreds of soldiers patrolled the Northern Demon Country's Meadow Continent. In the Divine Hawk camp, over 1,000 armored warriors trained in the foundation level, brandishing their weapons in unison. A stone pillar, dozens of meters high, stood before them, carved with the pattern of a 3-tailed spirit fox. Suddenly, the stone pillar shook violently, erupting with white light. The movement was astonishing.
The stone pillar. It's reacting. Someone must have teleported through the transmission formation. Hurry up and report it to the general.
A Demon Clan member of the 5th stage of the spirit level, with a rank similar to a deputy general, was greatly shocked and rushed towards the inner hall of the Divine Hawk camp. The stage was set for an inevitable clash. As the beams of light faded, the question loomed. Would the arrival of Bo Thompson and her allies turn the tide? Or would the chaos of the Northern Demon Country consume them all? Soon the Divine Hawk camp was in an uproar. From the inner hall of the camp, a middle-aged man in his early 50s rushed out. His temples were white, and there was a heroic spirit between his eyebrows. Most importantly, his eyes were as sharp as blades, as if they could cut through the void. As soon as he saw the stone pillar react, the middle-aged man was delighted and hurriedly ordered,
"Everyone, evacuate from the training camp and make room. Matthew Liu, take some people with you to activate the stone pillar's reception. Quick!"
He spoke to a vice general of the 5th stage of the advanced level next to him.
"Understood, General Samuel Blake."
The middle-aged man was none other than one of the 6 great generals of the Northern Demon Country, Green Wind Divine Hawk, Samuel Blake. At this moment, he couldn't hold in his excitement any longer. He began to tremble and murmured to himself,
Gavin Owens, oh, Gavin Owens, you've made me wait too long. Why did you come so late? But being late is better than not coming at all. Hurry up. I can't wait any longer.
He rubbed his hands. Suddenly, an astonishing white light erupted from the stone pillar and soared into the sky. Dark clouds gathered in the sky from all directions, with lightning flashing and thunder roaring. Slowly, the dark clouds rotated, forming a whirlpool in the middle, and an inexplicable space power emerged. An earth-shattering light pillar fell from the sky with great momentum. More than half of the meadow continent saw this strange light column. Once the light column hit the ground, sand and dust flew all over the sky. Thousands of Divine Hawk Camp soldiers were on guard and looked cautiously at the strange beam of light. The light column became smaller and smaller. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers dressed in black iron armor and holding weapons came out of the light column. All of them looked brave and full of killing intent, causing the expressions of the Divine Hawk Camp soldiers to change drastically.
Enemy, it must be the enemy. It's their disguise. Stay alert, everyone.
All of a sudden, the situation became tense. Even Samuel Blake's expression changed, and he was extremely livid. His eyebrows furrowed together and he roared,
How dare they use the transmission formation to enter the Meadow Continent? Do they think no one is guarding the Meadow Continent? Since you're here, don't dream of going back. Soldiers, gather all your strength and kill the enemies with me. Charge!
Within a few breaths, tens of thousands of soldiers were gathered in the Divine Hawk Camp. Both sides were ready to fight, and a big battle was about to break out. Right then, dozens of flying shuttles were also transmitted and hovered in the air above the campsite. Many expressions changed when they felt a large number of experts in the advanced level and expert level on the flying shuttles.
Let's capture their leader and behead them.
A pair of green wings suddenly appeared on Samuel Blake's back. He flapped his wings hard, causing an intense hurricane. In the blink of an eye, he soared into the sky. He moved extremely fast, even a little faster than the thunder.
Die!
Samuel Blake made a move. His fist radiance was dazzling, and his momentum was surging. At that moment, Gavin Owens and Liam Brooke, who were on the shuttle, attacked at the same time, trapping Samuel Blake in the middle and stopping his attack.
Well done, Greenwind Chicken. Don't you bother to see it's your brother Who coming to you? How dare you attack us?
Samuel Blake, open your eyes and see who we are.
The tension hung thick in the air as both sides prepared for what could be an epic clash. Who were these mysterious arrivals? What did they want? And how would Samuel Blake respond now that he realized his mistake? Samuel Blake was startled by Liam Brooke's slap. After a long moment, he came to his senses, dumbfounded.
Greenwind Chicken?
He looked at Liam Brooke and immediately recognized the two. He was ecstatic and laughed heartily.
Little Who, Old Wolf, it's you. I thought the enemy sneaked an attack on us.
Hump. If we didn't stop you in time, you would hurt Her Highness and become your enemy.
Her Highness? Has Her Highness returned with you guys?
Samuel Blake's body trembled, finding this hard to believe. At this time, Bo Thompson stood up and smiled at Samuel Blake.
Old General Samuel Blake, it's been a long time. How have you been?
Your Highness. It's really you. Please forgive me, Your Highness. I thought you were the enemy. I didn't expect it to be you, Your Highness.
He flapped his wings and got down on one knee in front of Bo Thompson, his face ashen. At first, when he saw the 100,000 Dark Wolf army, he thought it was a sneak attack from the enemy. After all, Samuel Blake only told Gavin Owens the method to use the transmission formation. He did not expect Gavin Owens would bring so many people here. Not only did Gavin Owens bring more than 100,000 soldiers and horses, but also Liam Brooke, the princess, and humans? Samuel Blake swept his glance over Zane Martell's group and suddenly paused.
Please rise, old General Samuel Blake. I believe you had no malice just now.
Bo Thompson quickly helped Samuel Blake up, fixing her beautiful eyes on him. It had been a long time since they last met, and Samuel Blake had become much older. It seemed that Samuel Blake had spent a lot of effort guarding the Meadow Continent.
Your Highness, are these people with you?
He pointed to the dozens of flying shuttles and 100,000 Dark Wolf army below. Bo Thompson nodded in response.
That's great, Your Highness. We will be a little more likely to win now that you're back. Your Highness, please follow me to the inner hall of the Divine Hawk Camp. Matthew Liu, tell the others to help allocate accommodation for our guests. Remember, these people are our brothers and sisters from now on.
A soldier valued nothing more than brotherhood. To go through life and death situations made their bonds stronger than steel. Soon the two armies became familiar with each other. After spending more than half a day, the Divine Hawk Camp finally helped the Dark Wolf army settle down. Samuel Blake held a banquet to celebrate their arrival in the inner hall of the Divine Hawk Camp. Only the core members of both sides could attend the banquet, including Samuel Blake, Matthew Liu, and a few of his subordinates. Meanwhile, the representatives from Darkwolf Hall were Gavin Owens, Catelyn, Madam Evelyn, Bo Thompson, Liam Brooke, Owen Brooks, Zane Martell, Alora, and Gabriel Stone.
Your Highness, I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm so excited to see you again. I'll toast to you first.
Samuel Blake raised his wine glass and finished it in one gulp.
Greenwind Chicken, how dare you finish your drink at once? Come on, I'll drink with you.
Liam Brooke was also in a good mood and finished his drink at once too. The Divine Hawk Camp and Darkwolf Hall had not been so lively for a long time. Therefore, many of them happily feasted at the banquet. After several rounds of drinks, all of them were ecstatic. Samuel Blake asked about Bo Thompson's situation and the details of their arrival. Gavin Owens did not hide anything. He told them everything, and even specially introduced Zane Martell, Elora, and Gabriel Stone to the Divine Hawk Camp in a solemn manner. After hearing that Zane Martell was Bo Thompson's benefactor, Samuel Blake's expression changed drastically. He walked over with incomparable respect and toasted Zane Martell. A long-lost cheerful ambiance filled the inner hall. Suddenly, Gavin Owens said to Samuel Blake,
Samuel Blake, do you have any Demon Clan cultivation methods for the three of them to hide their human auras?
The question hung in the air, heavy with implications. Would Samuel Blake have the means to help them? What challenges awaited these unlikely allies? Samuel Blake paused for a moment and immediately understood the situation.
That's right. It's indeed difficult for you to move around in the Northern Demon Country as humans. After this, I'll bring you to the Divine Hawk Camp's Scripture Hall and choose a few Demon Clan cultivation methods suitable for you to change your aura.
After the banquet ended, Samuel Blake led the three of them through the extensive training ground and continued forward. Zane Martell noticed that the Divine Hawk Camp seemed to be where Samuel Blake kept his troops. Those who passed by them were all armored soldiers. Behind the Divine Hawk Camp was a very simple and crude-looking pavilion. The pavilion had a total of 3 levels, and there were 2 officers in the advanced level guarding the main entrance.
General.
The 2 guards immediately greeted him as soon as they saw Samuel Blake. Pushing the door open, they went in. Skipping the 1st and 2nd floors, they arrived at the 3rd floor. There were not many cultivation methods manuals kept on the 3rd floor, and they were casually placed on a bookshelf without any protective measures.
Aren't they afraid someone would sneak in and learn these methods, or even sneak out the manuals?
It should be noted that a scripture hall was a place to keep cultivation techniques and martial arts techniques, and it was usually the most heavily guarded place in every sect and noble family. However, Zane Martell quickly understood why. First of all, the Divine Hawk Camp's military discipline was strict. It was almost impossible for anyone to steal things here. Secondly, if the enemy sneaked into this place, it would be impossible for the enemy to aim for only the manuals.
We keep the Demon Clan cultivation methods suitable for humans on the 3rd floor. You can choose any manual. You can change your own aura if you master the entry level of any of the techniques.
Alora nodded and was very excited. She jumped up and down like a child and began to browse. Gabriel Stone, on the other hand, was expressionless as he glanced around. As for Zane Martell, he was also looking forward to finding a cultivation method suitable for him. Zane Martell looked at the manuals on the rows of bookshelves. Fortunately, Samuel Blake did not urge them, so they had enough time to browse the collection. When Zane Martell came to a certain corner, the dragon-devouring prison within his body suddenly throbbed. He could clearly feel that the shadow of the dragon devourer seemed very excited, as if it had found something extraordinary.
Wait, this cultivation method is a little strange.
Zane Martell was shocked as he looked at the worn-out cultivation manual in front of him and fell into deep thought. A situation like this had never happened before. He quickly picked up the book called Demon Transformation and skimmed through it. After half an hour, he was extremely disappointed. The Demon Transformation was an extremely common black-rank cultivation method, and it would only enhance one's strength by a little. There was nothing special about it. However, Zane Martell refused to believe that the Demon Transformation was that ordinary.
General, may I ask what cultivation method is the Demon Transformation?
He took the question to Samuel Blake. Samuel Blake took the manual and carefully checked it. He frowned and shook his head.
Zane Martell, this technique doesn't
had also chosen his cultivation method, leaving only Zane Martel behind. He made up his mind.
That's it. The dragon-devouring prison and the shadow of the dragon devourer have never disappointed me. I'll trust them again.
Zane Martel, are you not going to change your mind?
Samuel Blake did not understand why Zane Martel insisted on choosing the demon transformation when it looked so ordinary.
General, I've chosen mine. This is the one.
After obtaining the cultivation method, Zane Martel and the two quickly returned to their residences. Elora's room was next to Zane Martel's. Gabriel Stone's room was diagonally opposite Zane Martel's. The three rooms were not far from each other. As soon as he returned to his room, Zane Martel couldn't wait to jump into the dragon-devouring prison. He came to the front of the shadow of the dragon devourer. The shadow of the dragon devourer, also known as the Great Decryptor, could predict everything: cultivation methods, medicinal pills, or runes. Now that the shadow of the dragon devourer had reacted so greatly, Zane Martel was very much looking forward to the result. He placed the cultivation manual in front of the shadow of the dragon devourer, and it immediately began to decrypt. In Emil's time, the decryption was completed. The comprehension was then transmitted into Zane Martel's mind, but there was nothing unusual.
That's all. How could it be so ordinary? It shouldn't be like this.
Zane Martel frowned. He thought the demon transformation would be a powerful hidden skill, but he could only describe it as a piece of trash. It was a skill that could not be more useless. But why did the shadow of the dragon devourer react so strongly before? Could something be missing? Just as Zane Martel was puzzled, the shadow of the dragon devourer began to imitate the rune body refining technique. Zane Martel paused for a moment and began to become nervous. He did not tell the shadow of the dragon devourer to decrypt anything else. Zane Martel soon realized things were not as simple as he thought. The rune body refining technique contained a few tricks and methods of the demon transformation. The auras of the two fused, continuously merged, and evolved. Slowly, a brand new cultivation manual was derived.
Is this the fusion of techniques? It can combine techniques?
Zane Martel had never expected the shadow of the dragon devourer could do something so amazing. No wonder it was called the Great Decryptor. It was true. Soon, a complete formula and experience entered Zane Martel's mind. In the past, such a massive amount of information would probably blow up his head. However, now that Zane Martel's willpower had grown a lot, it was easier for him to accept the massive information.
This cultivation technique is called the Sky Demon 99 Transformations.
Zane Martel was shocked and then ecstatic. According to the Sky Demon 99 Transformations description, it was a cultivation method of unknown grade, but its effect was incredible. There were a total of 13 levels in the Sky Demon 99 transformations. Every time he mastered a level, his strength and physique would double. It combined the characteristics of the rune body refining technique and the demon transformation. Not only could it increase the cultivator's strength greatly, but it would also make the cultivator invulnerable. Moreover, it could also allow the cultivator to transform into a half-human and half-demonic beast creature. As long as the cultivator refined the blood essence of demonic beasts, they could imitate the beast's appearance and some of its strength, even some of the beast's race's talents. He could refine 99 demonic beast blood essence and transform into 99 different beast appearances at most. With this thought, Zane Martel was so frightened that his eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Being able to transform into a beast was always the cultivation method he wanted to master. Furthermore, he could now transform into 99 beasts at most. It was a lot. The thought of him being able to transform into a devouring dragon made Zane Martel ecstatic and could no longer remain calm. What mysteries did the Sky Demon 99 transformations hold? What would Zane Martel's next steps be? The excitement and anticipation for what comes next were almost unbearable. Zane Martel soon understood the limitations of the Sky Demon 99 transformations. The purity and quantity of the blood essence refined by a cultivator determined the strength after transforming into a beast. The purer the blood essence, the greater the strength and talent gain. Zane Martel sat down and began to cultivate. The vital energy in his body slowly circulated according to the Sky Demon 99 transformations formula, because the Sky Demon 99 transformations evolved from the rune body refining technique Zane Martel cultivated without any obstruction. In half an hour, he mastered the first level, exuding a strong aura of a demonic beast. Zane Martel continued to cultivate. A few bottles of medicinal pills appeared before him, and he poured them directly into his mouth. Half a day later, he stepped into the second level. His muscles squirmed and his blood boiled, feeling stronger as his skin thickened and roughened like a cocoon. Suddenly, Zane Martel stood up. He refined the Silver Moon Dark Wolf's blood essence in his body once more, according to the Sky Demon 99 transformations. The Silver Moon Dark Wolf was an ancient demonic beast with the talent of tearing through the void. Gavin Owens with this talent could break the space and shuttle between Dark Wolf Hall and the Godwill sect. A few minutes later, Zane Martel's aura changed drastically, like a deep ocean, as if a powerful demonic beast had appeared in his dragon-devouring prison.
Transforming into a beast.
A hurricane suddenly blew, and Zane Martel's body swiftly transformed. His body grew more than twice its original size, his arms long and slender, and his nails became incomparably sharp. Silver-gray hair appeared on his skin, making him look like a terrifying werewolf. 2 lines extended from his eyes to his limbs, giving him a strange appearance.
Roar!
Zane Martel kicked his legs, shooting out like a human cannonball. In the blink of an eye, he appeared a few kilometers away. He clenched his fists and hit a giant stone. Boom! The fist force surged, and a gust of wind blew. The giant stone was blown apart, turning into powder.
After I transformed into a beast, my strength has doubled. Now, even without the colorless world, I can take on an expert at the first stage of the expert level. If I used the colorless world, I could easily kill an expert in the expert level, but the willpower it consumes is too much.
Zane Martel remembered how much willpower the colorless world consumed when he dealt with Madame Tina. It took almost half of his willpower. Increasing its power would increase consumption, likely draining his willpower completely. If he couldn't kill his opponent with the colorless world, he would most likely die. Zane Martel returned to human form and left the dragon-devouring prison. The door to Alora's room was still tightly locked. She was still cultivating. Not wanting to disturb her, he hurried to Samuel Blake's room. Samuel Blake was very surprised to see Zane Martel and hurriedly came out to welcome him.
Zane Martel, what brings you here?
Samuel Blake. I've made significant progress with the Sky Demon 99 transformations, but I need your guidance on something crucial.
The air was thick with tension as Zane Martel prepared to explain his newfound power and the risks it entailed. His transformation into a beast had opened new doors, but it also posed great dangers. What would Samuel Blake advise? Would Zane Martel be able to control this newfound power, or would it consume him? The midnight air hung heavy with the weight of urgency as Zane Martel approached General Samuel Blake's quarters. His heart pounded with a mix of desperation and hope. He had come seeking answers, a clue, anything that would lead him to his father, Ezekiel Martel. The strong demonic aura that Zane Martel now possessed made his presence unmistakable. Samuel Blake's eyes widened, his disbelief palpable.
Zane Martel has reached the entry level, and already has such a potent demonic aura in less than a day. Genius. Truly a genius. Her Highness and the others were right about him.
With a respectful bow, Zane Martel addressed Samuel Blake, his voice tinged with a mix of hope and apology.
General Samuel Blake, I'm sorry to disturb you at this late hour, but I need to find out about my father as soon as possible.
The night was deep, with shadows stretching long and silent across the room.
Go ahead, Zane Martel.
Inviting Zane Martel inside, Samuel Blake poured a cup of tea, the steam swirling in the dim light, a silent gesture of welcome and seriousness. Zane Martel's voice wavered with a mixture of anxiety and hope as he spoke.
Have you heard anything about my father, Ezekiel Martel?
Zane Martel knew only fragments of his father's fate, that he was in the northern demon country and had fallen into enemy hands. The specifics eluded him, gnawing at his insides like a relentless beast. Samuel Blake's expression darkened. The weight of Zane Martel's question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fears and uncertainties.
Her Highness mentioned you this morning. I've sent people to investigate, but there's no word yet. Don't worry. Your father is a benefactor to the royal family. We'll find a way to rescue him, no matter the cost.
Zane Martel's fists clenched, his knuckles turning white. He nodded, understanding that patience was his only ally now.
Thank you, General. I'll be waiting for your update.
As the night surrendered to silence, Zane Martel's mind swirled with thoughts of his father and the unknown dangers he faced. The dawn brought a soft knock at his door, heralding a new day and new hopes. Elora's cheerful voice cut through the morning calm like a burst of sunlight.
Sleepyhead, are you up yet? Come on, get out of bed and let's go for a walk.
Zane Martel's heart lifted at the sound of her voice. They had faced countless dangers together, and their bond had only grown stronger through it all.
All right, I'm coming.
Soon Elora and Zane Martel found themselves wandering outside the Divine Hawk Camp, a bustling hub of life and energy. The Meadow Continent sprawled before them, almost half the size of the Yarrow Kingdom, teeming with vibrant activity. The streets buzzed with members of the Demon Clan, most in human form, while others showcased their beastly heritage in striking displays of power and grace. Elora's eyes sparkled with delight as she darted from stall to stall, marveling at the exotic wares.
Look at this, Zane Martel! And this one too! Oh, I want that one!
Zane Martel couldn't help but smile, her joy infectious. He realized that amidst their adventures he had never taken her shopping. Guilt tugged at him, but today he was determined to make up for lost time.
Sure, I'll get you anything you want.
Her laughter rang out, a melody of happiness that brightened the morning.
Hey! You're so sweet, Zane Martel!
Elora's playful gesture of ruffling his hair brought a warmth to Zane Martel's heart. They were more than companions now. They were a team, bound by the trials they had faced together. As the morning sun climbed higher, Zane Martel couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. The mystery of his father's fate loomed large, and the path ahead promised more challenges. What secrets did the Northern Demon Country hold? Who were the enemies that had captured his father? The questions gnawed at Zane Martel, driving him forward, deeper into the unknown.